May it please the Court, honorable judges and justices, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's an honor and privilege to be speaking at the installation ceremony of John Roll. To begin with, I would like to introduce the members of John's family, and I would ask that you stand for a moment when I call your name. First, I would like to introduce John's wife, Maureen. Next, I would like to introduce John's three sons, Robert, who is 21 years old and attending NAU. Patrick, who is 17 years old and a senior at South Point High School. Christopher, who is 15 and a freshman at Immaculate Heart High School. John's brother Ed and sister Pat are also here today. Ed and Pat. John is very close to Maureen's parents, and I would like to introduce John's mother-in-law, Leona Williams, and father-in-law, Will Williams. Finally, it's a pleasure to introduce John's father, Paul, who recently celebrated his 80th birthday. Although we are gathered here today to celebrate a very happy event, and although we live in the greatest country in the world, we are all witness to very troubled times. On national, state, and local levels, Americans each and every day are confronted with a bewildering array of social problems. In many parts of the country, crime is spiraling out of control, and law enforcement, prosecution, defense, and social agency resources are being taxed beyond their limits. Environmental concerns on occasion clash with development and business interests. The economy reflects years of neglect and malfeasance. Millions of Americans suffer from homelessness, unemployment and underemployment, and from lack of basic health care. The net effect of the status quo is a collective disillusionment, a palpable cynicism directed towards our social and governmental institutions. People are becoming desensitized to the needs of others and are losing faith in the American way. From this quagmire of real and perceived social ills, Americans turn to the judiciary, the courts, for redress, for vindication, and for justice. Notwithstanding significant financial and manpower constraints, it is the judicial system which in many instances is expected to provide solutions and answers to today's pressing social issues. In Arizona, we have 124 Superior Court judges and 11 federal district court judges. The number and complexity of cases submitted to these judges is staggering. Last year alone, approximately 150,000 cases were filed in the state superior courts. In the federal district court, there were over 4,000 cases pending in 1991. By the way, John, if you haven't figured it out yet, your share of that caseload comes to about 363.3 cases. And I'm confident that as we speak, Judges Browning, Bilby, and Marquez are transitioning some of those files to your office. Our judges on a daily basis are entrusted with the responsibility of deciding cases that affect every important aspect of our lives. Cases involving freedom of speech and religion, rights to privacy, property and contract rights, criminal law, civil rights, environmental litigation, the list is endless, are all brought and adjudicated in the state and federal courts. The parties to a controversy expect and require our judges to exercise impartiality and fairness, to apply the law in an even-handed, judicious manner, and to possess the wisdom of Solomon. The pressures on the judiciary, the branch of government entrusted by our forefathers with administering our country's laws, is enormous. We Arizonans are blessed with an extraordinarily capable and progressive state and federal judiciary. John Roll leads a highly distinguished appellate court to join an equally distinguished panel of district court judges, judges who regularly determine issues of national significance. I know John will feel uncomfortable if I say too many nice things about him, but it would be anomalous to speak at an installation ceremony and not talk a little bit about the career of the man we have come to honor. Moreover, as Judge Fernandez indicated, Judge Browning has granted all of us use immunity, and Maureen told me it was all right to say some nice things. John Roll earned his day today the old-fashioned way, by hard work. John, Ed, and Pat lost their mother when John was about 15 years old and a freshman in high school. How proud their mother would have been to celebrate this day with us. Neither of John's parents had the opportunity to attend college, and at an early age, John started to work and continued working through high school, college, and law school. John is a graduate of South Point High School and received a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Arizona in 1969. He married his high school sweetheart, Maureen, and upon graduation from the University of Arizona Law School in 1972, John joined the City Attorney's Office. In 1973, he joined the Pima County Attorney's Office to serve as a Deputy County Attorney. John Roll's career at the Pima County Attorney's Office is the stuff of legends, but there was almost never a story to tell because when John was interviewed by Randy Stevens and David Dingledine and Jim Howard, they all agreed that he was remarkably modest and quiet and humble, traits which usually disqualified a candidate from becoming a deputy county attorney. The office nevertheless decided to take a chance and hire John. John had been with the county attorney's office for just 3 years, and at the age of 29, according to a newspaper article, he had already tried more cases before a jury than some trial lawyers do in a lifetime. John had set a whirlwind pace with over 70 jury trials in 36 months. What was equally as notable in that newspaper article, however, and what provided a glimpse into John Roll's character, was a quote from John indicating that he starts a case by giving the defendant the benefit of every doubt and takes the case to trial only when he is convinced the person is guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. John commented that his first duty as an officer of the court was to see that justice was done. The Phoenix Gazette carried an article about John on June 5, 1979, remarking that John was the first lawyer to be photographed while arguing a case before an Arizona court. The Arizona Supreme Court had begun a year-long experiment involving the use of cameras in the courtroom, and John believed that the decision to allow cameras was a very good idea and said that there's a lot that goes on at the trial level that the public should see, because the more the public knows, the better it is. During his tenure with the Pima County Attorney's Office, John published numerous articles on trial practice, lectured extensively on various aspects of trying cases, received innumerable commendations, prizes, awards, and other forms of recognition, and was the recipient of the Distinguished Faculty Award from the National College of District Attorneys in 1979. After 7 years as a deputy county attorney, and much to the county attorney's office's chagrin, John joined the U.S. Attorney's Office in 1980. Before he left, County Attorney Steve Neely designated John Roll the best at what he did. Interviewed before leaving the office, John stated that, and I quote, "I try to be aggressive without being overbearing and courteous. The courtroom deserves that demeanor. I think what we're doing is just as serious as anything else that goes on in this world." At the U.S. Attorney's Office, John prosecuted major drug conspiracies and other felonies, but also practiced in the civil division, litigating medical malpractice, personal injury, constitutional torts, and civil rights litigation. All told, John Roll tried an amazing 128 cases to verdict. In 1987, at age 40, John was appointed to the Court of Appeals Division II, where he served with distinction until just last week. While on the bench, he earned a Master of Laws in Judicial Processes by attending 2 consecutive summer sessions at the University of Virginia Law School and preparing a thesis on the merit system selection of judges. As dedicated as John has been to his legal career, he is more dedicated yet to his family and to his community. John has served as president of the St. Peter and Paul School Board and as a lector at the church, has been active in the United Way campaign and Multiple Sclerosis Society, is a member of the Knights of Columbus, was a Little League coach for many years, and enjoys family activities, including playing golf with his sons. Incidentally, it's my understanding that he conscripted his 3 sons into taking up golf so that he would always be assured of having a foursome. And it goes without saying that John is an avid Wildcats basketball fan. I think it would be appropriate at this juncture for us to give recognition to and applaud the professional and personal achievements of John Roll. To the distinguished appellate judges with whom John has served since 1987, those of us who practice primarily in the court system share your sense of loss because despite his youth, John has shown himself to be wise and capable beyond his years. To the distinguished district court judges whom John joins today, rest assured your reputation will only be enhanced and made richer by the addition of a judge whose work ethic and sense of morality and ethics is second to none and whose integrity is unparalleled. To my colleagues who prosecute and defend criminal cases, you will be practicing before a jurist who has a thorough and intimate appreciation of the criminal justice system, but who understands that justice is only truly served when the system is responsive to the rights of all persons, and who recognizes that as humans, each and every one of us is entitled to be treated with a measure of dignity. To the civil bar, you will find that while John Roll is a strict adherent to the rule of law and to notions of fair play, he is someone who remains humble and knows there is a place for compassion and caring in the system. But the biggest winners of all will be the citizens of Pima County and the city of Tucson, and especially those individuals who appear before Judge Roll, whether as jurors, parties, witnesses, or attorneys, because you will experience a man who only knows how to be courteous, whose humility is genuine and heartfelt, and whose dedication to the law and his work will be all-encompassing. I predict great things for John Roll, and our system of justice will be the better for having him within it. I would like to close by quoting from the Old Testament book of Micah at chapter 6, verse 8. He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. John, we all congratulate you and wish you the very best.